So we've had a really good first day of filming, full day of filming. We left at 7 and we got back about 4, so a kind of proper day's work. It was a miraculous day actually. It felt like we were working hard but working really well together. Israel pulls everything out of the bag we need him to. Our actors have been really good. In fact, I think a few of them are really talented. It got off to a bit of a ropey start this morning. We left at 7. We wanted to leave early and make sure that we got a lot of good light, but the truck broke down first of all about halfway. FT managed to get it going again, and then it broke down again about a mile from Barmoy, our first shooting location. So we had to walk with all the kit, but not exactly what we needed first thing in the morning. And luckily now we have a new truck, so hopefully that won't be happening again. As expected, huge crowds formed when we started filming. There was a point at which the crowd got absolutely enormous, but then from one end of the village came a massive parade, carnival kind of atmosphere, lots of singing, a guy dressed up as a devil, and then that took over the show for a good half an hour, and possibly for our benefit, we're not really sure. Sorry about the green, the generator's about to go off. It's 11 o'clock on Saturday night, 29th. James and I have been here for 12 days. Today was our 3rd day of filming, so we're halfway through. It's going really well. We're on track, which is actually quite an amazing achievement already, I think. We've got a really good little troupe of actors who are playing all the parts in the scripts. They're working really hard and really pulling it off for us. The footage is looking great. It's a real joy to be filming at such an amazing location, and hopefully the content is working really well for the film as well. That said, it's been a hard 3 days. We're working the crew really hard. They're clearly not used to working to such a regime. Normally they'll be working of a morning, and then that's pretty much it. It's too hot to work in the afternoon. There was a bit of tension on set today, which was difficult. There's clearly some issues around hierarchy for some of them, and just not knowing how a film shoot should work. So I guess they're all learning really rapidly. Working in those villages is a very precious thing. There's lots of very poor children around us all the time. One thing which we haven't really seen is a huge amount of suffering, but it is clearly a society which is living on the edge, and you can imagine that any break in that very fragile equilibrium would present huge turmoil to these communities. Forget $1 a day, I mean it doesn't even come close. But it's heartening to see these kids in these communities living their day-to-day lives and existing on the level they do. There's clearly a lot of happiness and contentment in the villages, and it's very difficult to measure their quality of life. But what does start to become clear is the segregation in the community. There are the haves and there are the have-nots. There's some kids who are very well dressed and who understand a little of what we're saying, and then there's some other kids who are incredibly run down. They're very dirty, they are malnourished, and living every day as it comes. But through all that, it's great to have fun with the kids and play with them and do games at lunchtime. And one of the things that they've picked up is Clare shouts quiet and action, obviously, before we do anything. It's a system we're trying to get the actors used to, and it's working really well. And then the throng of children that's always gathered around us as we leave a set start shouting quiet please and action as we're leaving, and Claire's trying to teach them all how to say it properly, and it's just it's amazing to see.
Quiet please, action!
Quiet please, action!
We seem to be quite self-sufficient. We've managed to cook for ourselves most evenings. Claire and James are slaving over pots on the open fire whilst Toby and I get the edit together. That in itself is taking all evening, and we're editing from about 4 till 11 most days, and Claire and James are really making sure we're all getting fed and watered. It's all going really, really well. We've just had 2 days off, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. We've chilled out around the base, gone for the odd walk, but essentially we've rested, recuperated, done some washing, cooked some food, and just relaxed. We've needed it. We spent 4 days in Barmoy making 2/3 of the film. It went really, really well in the end. All the cast and all the people who helped us out in Barmoy were fantastic. We even had some time at the end to do some fun shots with some of the kids who were kicking around. So we've got all the kids running after one of the life cycles, which hopefully be kind of our end shot. A bit of a homage to Little Miss Sunshine. We actually ended up having quite a fun New Year's Eve. We played cards till midnight and ended up finishing off a bottle of Havana Club between us. So it was really lovely. The stars are amazing here, as you might expect, and once the generator gets turned off, it's an incredibly peaceful place. We did have a slightly rude awakening this morning, New Year's Day. The affectionately named Nettie, which is the toilet, was infested with cockroaches first thing this morning. We counted 14, but James stepped up to the mark and cleared it down, and FT, bless him, decontaminated the whole place. So hopefully we're roach free for a little while longer. One thing that happened to us the other day, which I think I forgot to mention, was we went for a walk down to the river. Just as we crossed the road outside the base, there was a big procession coming down the road, and of course we were all very excited that there was a procession coming down the road. There was lots of dancing, singing, shouting. It all looked quite exciting. There was a big mask on someone was dressed up as the devil. It turned out to be a secret society meeting, and they were doing an initiation for someone, and it actually got a bit hairy, and it's the only time really when we've been here we felt slightly threatened. We were obviously very interested, so we were waiting, but as it got close to us, they clearly didn't want us to take any photographs, and they were shouting, "This is African culture, this is African culture, no snappo, no snappo," and it felt quite threatening. And we've been hearing that again today. We've been hearing the whistle and the dancing as they've been moving through the streets of Kambia. Apart from that, we're very, very welcomed absolutely everywhere we go. The only strange thing is walking around the streets, and as we drive through villages, people shout "poto, poto, poto," which means kind of white skin. And that's kind of weird, but they're not saying it in any derogatory way or any threatening way. They're just shouting, "There's loads of white guys." It's totally bizarre, and it seems that everyone from 2-year-olds to older men will shout or say it to you. So 5 days to go. We go to Masele tomorrow for our first day of filming there, start the second chapter of the film. We've done the first and the third, so hopefully we'll have a film by the end of the week.